Welcome to the Daily Report, where real stories meet thoughtful analysis.
Hollywood has been spinning all weekend, but today it tipped into something else entirely. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds just launched a PR push so polished and so perfectly timed that it doesn't feel random, it feels coordinated. And with new evidence about to be unsealed this week, their sudden urgency is starting to raise eyebrows, fast. Because the moment you look at what they released and how they released it, the whole thing takes on a very different tone. Something strange is happening in Hollywood this week, and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are suddenly pushing out so many polished PR stories that it feels less like coincidence and more like panic. While everyone waits for the unsealed evidence to drop later this week, Blake and Ryan have already kicked off what looks like a full-blown damage control marathon. And the timing? You don't need a PR degree to see how intentional it feels. Because today, something unexpected happened. People covering this case on TikTok, including attorneys who break down legal documents, not gossip, started reporting that their videos were being muted. Not taken down, muted. As if someone wanted the public to scroll right past anything that didn't match the polished narrative Blake and Ryan have been flooding the internet with. And what's wild is this: social media sentiment isn't exactly leaning in their favor right now. In fact, Amber Heard, the woman Hollywood once declared finished, is pulling bigger engagement numbers than Blake Lively herself. Blake's recent post barely cracked 17,000 likes, despite her alleged 45 million followers. Amber, with just 5 million followers, pulled in over 240,000 likes on a simple Thanksgiving photo. So while Blake's team pumps out relatable mom at Trader Joe's stories and Ryan leans into his family man who owns his mistakes persona, the internet seems to be reacting with a collective raised eyebrow. And that's before we even get into the PR move that kicked off this morning, one that feels almost too calculated to ignore. Because just when it looked like their narrative was settling, Ryan dropped a new positive press story, so perfectly timed, it's almost impossible not to question who coordinated it and why. Just when everyone thought Ryan Reynolds was done planting feel-good stories, he dropped one so strategically timed it practically glows under a spotlight. This morning, Variety, yes, Variety, one of Hollywood's biggest entertainment outlets, published a glowing piece about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's charitable work. And here's the odd part. The story went live at 6 a.m. Pacific, long before the YouTube video it was promoting was even released, meaning the media had the write-up in hand before Ryan posted the content meant to accompany it. That's not journalism, that's coordination. The headline? Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively mark Hollywood training and mentorship program. We're leveling up even more. A beautifully packaged PR gift meant to emphasize how generous, thoughtful, inclusive, and philanthropic Blake and Ryan allegedly are, just days before unsealed evidence is expected to hit the public. And the quotes in the article? All neatly emailed in advance. Each sentence sounds like it was crafted to mirror the exact image crisis managers advise celebrities to adopt when legal drama looms. We were nervous our plans were too ambitious. We left room for it to fail. We just wanted to open doors for underrepresented talent. But the irony, the actual help being described amounts mostly to studios hosting interns and crew members handling the hands-on work, not Ryan or Blake mentoring anyone personally. Add that to the fact that the timing aligns perfectly with a week where more evidence in the Baldoni-Blakely lawsuit may become public, and suddenly the charity narrative feels less like goodwill and more like insulation. But the story gets even more unbelievable, because this charity push isn't the only PR strategy they're running. It's just one brick in a much bigger structure, and the next layer exposes even more contradictions. Because while Ryan was polishing his good citizen image in Variety, another financial revelation broke, one that completely undercuts the wholesome narrative he's selling. Just as the polished charity headlines were circulating, another story surfaced, one that shatters the Hollywood humanitarian image Ryan's been selling this week. While Variety painted Ryan and Blake as generous, community-focused visionaries, a report from The Guardian revealed something that feels like the exact opposite. According to the article, Wrexham AFC, the soccer club co-owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, received £18 million of government funding, despite being owned by two extremely wealthy Hollywood figures. 18 million. Public money, taxpayer-funded, funneled into a privately owned club that already benefits from global sponsorships, a hit Disney Plus documentary, and soaring international brand value, all lining the pockets of the owners, not the community. And locals are furious because while schools face budget cuts and hospitals struggle with funding gaps, a government grant is being used to support what critics are calling a Hollywood vanity investment. According to a financial expert quoted in the report, the money essentially acts as a non-repayable subsidy, benefiting the club and its wealthy owners for decades, with zero return to taxpayers. It's hard to reconcile this with the PR push Ryan launched just hours earlier. One narrative shows him as a champion for underrepresented talent. The other? A millionaire benefiting from public funds intended for struggling communities. And the timing could not be more suspicious, because in the same week he emphasizes how charitable he and Blake are, the internet uncovers a financial arrangement that points in the complete opposite direction. But the contradictions don't stop there, because while Blake and Ryan try to control the press, the public's reaction is exposing something they can't spin away. Because when you compare Blake Lively's real audience engagement to someone Hollywood once labeled canceled, the numbers tell a story their PR team definitely doesn't want trending. For a celebrity with 45 million followers, you'd expect Blake Lively's social media engagement to crush almost anyone, right? Except the numbers tell a completely different story, and it's one her team definitely didn't anticipate. This weekend, fans started comparing Blake Lively's engagement to Amber Heard's, and the results were almost embarrassing. Blake, with her massive follower count, posted a cute getting ready for date night reel, 3 days online, and it pulled in just 17,000 likes. 17,000 for a woman supposedly reaching tens of millions. Now, compare that to Amber Heard. Amber, who Hollywood tried to blacklist, who vanished from public life, who moved to Spain to escape the chaos, posted a simple turkey dinner. No glam, no PR styling, just a turkey dinner. And she pulled in 242,000 plus likes, nearly 15 times more than Blake. Keep in mind, Amber has only 5 million followers. Blake allegedly has 45 million. And Amber hasn't been actively in the public eye in years. So how does the least liked woman in Hollywood outperform Blake Lively by that margin? There are only two possibilities. Blake's followers aren't real, her engagement is artificially inflated only when needed, and this time they didn't bother. And this matters because Blake and Ryan's legal narrative hinges on claiming negative engagement online is caused by bots, a claim they've leaned into repeatedly despite zero evidence. But if anyone's numbers look suspicious, it's not Amber's. And this wasn't even the only strange thing happening online, because while Blake's engagement fell flat, creators covering the lawsuit noticed an even darker pattern: muted videos, mass reporting, and targeted suppression. When lawyers themselves start getting silenced online, you know something bigger is moving behind the scenes. Because everyday trolls don't have the power to mute an entire creator's library. One of the most respected legal creators on TikTok, known for her fact-based breakdowns of filings, not gossip, revealed that 29 of her videos about the Blake-Ryan Baldoni case were suddenly muted. Not removed, not restricted, muted. That's the kind of action TikTok usually takes only when an account gets mass reported in coordinated waves, or when someone with substantial influence pushes the platform into automated enforcement. And here's the unsettling part. She said not a single video from any other case she covered, from Karen Reed to Megan Thee Stallion to 23andMe, had ever been muted. Only the videos about this lawsuit, only the videos mentioning Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni. The creator even speculated that someone named Lauren, a user who repeatedly mass reports content, might be tied to a PR or legal team connected to the situation. She didn't claim it was Ryan Reynolds himself, but she did strongly suspect that someone with power, time, and motive was behind the surge. Blake Lively hired Nick Shapiro at the earliest stages of this drama. The same Nick Shapiro known for crisis management, information suppression, and reputation shielding. If anyone knows how to bury digital footprints and manipulate online narratives quietly, it's someone with that background. And we've seen signs of similar interference before. The competitor notes that even their own Wikipedia page was edited every 2 minutes nonstop for weeks. Hundreds of edits, all pushing negative narratives, all designed to smear. That isn't fan behavior. That's an operation. But while TikTok creators are being muted, something else is happening behind the scenes. Something involving Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman, and a series of meetings that paint an entirely different picture of Blake's timeline. Because once you lay out every meeting, every message, and every unexpected celebrity drop-in, the story of who knew what and when becomes far more complicated and far more revealing. The more you dig into the meetings Blake, Ryan, and Justin Baldoni had, the clearer it becomes that the public timeline they've been selling is only half the story. Because the real version involves surprise celebrity drop-ins, conflicting accounts, and a pattern that stretches across nearly a year. According to the filings in the competitor transcript, there weren't just 1 or 2 tense meetings between Blake and Justin. There were multiple, each revealing another layer of contradictions. And woven through these encounters is a name fans didn't expect to show up more than once: Taylor Swift. Let's start with April 2023. This was the month when Blake and Justin met to discuss the rooftop scene. The same scene Ryan Reynolds later admitted he helped write. During that conversation, Taylor reportedly stopped by unannounced, not knowing there was a meeting happening. This part we already knew. Immediately after that encounter, Blake allegedly sent Justin the infamous "I'm Khaleesi and I have my dragons" text message, a message that became a key moment in Justin's filings. But then, things escalate. Later that same month, in another meeting at Blake and Ryan's penthouse, Justin is confronted about the fat-shaming allegation, something that stemmed from a completely reasonable question about Blake's weight because he was physically required to lift her for a scene. And this is the meeting where 2 more major celebrities appear: Hugh Jackman and Taylor Swift. Both present, both in the room when tensions were high, and Ryan Reynolds reportedly raised his voice at Justin. The competitor transcript even mentions that the filing describes celebrity friends coming and out during the confrontation, adding to the humiliation factor. But then comes January 2024, the meeting that confused many people, including the competitor themselves. This was the meeting where Ryan Reynolds allegedly yelled at Justin for 5 to 6 hours straight. Yet Blake claims everything had been resolved by this point because she'd already signed the 17-point agreement and returned to set with no issues. So why another explosive meeting? Why more yelling? Why drag producers and Sony representatives into it if everything had been settled months earlier? And here's where the contradictions get even sharper. Blake's filings insist Taylor's involvement was limited to that single rooftop moment. But other documents and even comments from actress Isabella Ferrer suggest Taylor played a bigger role in casting decisions, emotional support, and possibly even behind-the-scenes discussions about the project. And the court clearly believes Taylor's communication is relevant, because as the competitor mentioned, Blake was ordered on June 18th to hand over all communication with Taylor Swift. That means text, emails, messages, everything. So why the secrecy? Why the conflicting accounts? And why would Blake threaten to release 10 years of messages, according to Brian Friedman's sworn statement? Something about this friendship, once presented as unbreakable, shifted dramatically. And the exact moment it fell apart may be buried in those communications the court demanded. But the biggest question isn't what happened in those meetings, it's what's about to happen this week. Because once the unsealed evidence drops, we might finally see the recording that could change everything. Everything we've seen so far, the PR push, the charity stories, the muted creators, the celebrity-filled meetings, has been building toward one moment. And that moment is finally here, because this week, the court begins unsealing evidence, including something far more explosive than any headline. All week long, millions of people have been refreshing timelines waiting for the unsealed files surrounding the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni conflict. Documents, messages, evidence the public hasn't seen yet, all set to surface with a court-ordered deadline. And here's the part no one can ignore. Somewhere in that collection is a recording. The competitor transcript mentions it almost in passing, but the way they talk about it says everything. This recording isn't just another detail. It's the piece people are quietly bracing for. Because recordings don't lie. Recordings don't spin. Recordings don't need PR. A recording captures tone, emotion, intent. All the things polished statements carefully avoid. And if the contents of that audio contradict even one piece of the public narrative Blake and Ryan have been pushing, it won't just be a bad headline. It will be a credibility crisis. But that's not the only reason this week feels like a turning point. This case has already hinted at compromised friendships, celebrity pressure, interference rumors, and questionable behind-the-scenes behavior. We've watched PR campaigns launched at dawn, stories sent to reporters before videos were even uploaded, and curated narratives that crumble when compared to actual engagement numbers online. And now, just as everything reaches a boiling point, the courts are about to pull back the curtain. Which messages will be revealed? What will the communication between Blake and Taylor Swift show? Why were so many creators silenced on TikTok at the same time? And what exactly is in that recording that has everyone waiting with their breath held? This week doesn't just bring updates, it brings answers. And with answers comes consequences. Because if even half of what's rumored ends up confirmed in those unsealed files, the public might soon realize that the story Blake and Ryan have been selling isn't the one that's been happening behind closed doors. Hollywood has been spinning all weekend, but today it tipped into something else entirely. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds just launched a PR push so polished and so perfectly timed that it doesn't feel random, it feels coordinated. And with new evidence about to be unsealed this week, their sudden urgency is starting to raise eyebrows, fast. Because the moment you look at what they released and how they released it, the whole thing takes on a very different tone. Stay with me on this one. Like the video and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.